I'm usually super cautious with horror films, in particular ones with wide releases. I'm always looking for good horror films though, and generally the smaller the setting, the creepier the film ends up on the whole. So with this new release simply set on a farm in the outskirts of a town in New England, I actually felt a bit excited for a wide release horror film, and on the whole, it lived up to my expectations and went just a little bit above them. This is director Robert Eggers' first feature, and he does an excellent job establishing tone and creating such a haunting atmosphere with this film. He follows the idea of less is more, which works twice as well in horror films than in any other genre in my opinion. There's a lot of skin-crawling choices that he makes throughout the film that really allow the film to get under your skin. I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but trust me that the film does a great job at just creating an unease throughout the short runtime. The cinematography is also generally great at creating the definitive tone and atmosphere. A very large number of the shot compositions and lighting are just inherently creepy, using a lot of darkness to invoke that less is more ideal that the film holds so dear to its heart. Most of the cinematography looks great, especially for a directorial debut, though I must admit that whenever the cinematography is seemingly taking a break and not implementing a lot of the more artistically interesting compositions, the shots can look kind of flat. A lot of the color is sucked out and the visuals aren't always interesting to look at. One aspect that really makes a good horror film into a great one though is the performances. The lead actress, Anya Taylor-Joy, does a great job at making her character Thomasin someone we care about but are intrigued to see if she's good or evil. She drives the story forward and her dynamic with the rest of the family is interesting to watch unfold bit by bit. Ralph Ineson plays her father, who sets the story going, and his performance is always on edge, while holding on to as much sanity as someone can realistically have given the situations. Kate Dickey's great as the grieving mother throughout all of the insanity. Harvey Scrimshaw as Thomasin's younger brother Caleb is a bit more mixed. He has some good scenes that can be really chilling, but some of his other scenes his voice actually doesn't scare me all that much, and seems just the tiniest bit corny. On the whole though, he does well with his scenes, but he and the two younger twins are definitely weaker than the other three members of the family. The film has some minimal visual effects that aren't that convincing, but besides that, the amount of work in the post-production is really interesting. The editing job is great at splicing all of these scenes together, and again, assist in that tone that really gets you under your skin. The soundtrack is great at building the tension in each of the scenes, while also generally being a spine-tingling mix of instrumentals and chorus. The imagery is creepy as hell, the performances are genuinely good for the most part, despite a few of the child performances. The direction is very promising and gives the film a huge amount of atmosphere. The cinematography is mostly gorgeously dark and mysterious, and a lot of the choices made in editing and sound design lend themselves well to genuine scares. The makeup is kind of weird with this vanished family in the outskirts of New England. They all look pretty clean, but that's sort of nitpicky. It's a great horror movie, even if it follows a couple of the genre's cliches. I'm really happy that for once a horror movie lived up to my expectations and then some. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's always a pleasant surprise. I'm going to give The Witch a B+. Have you seen The Witch? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and if you liked my review, please like the video and support my channel by subscribing to me on YouTube, sharing this video, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Thanks again, friends. Stay spectacular.